join us for this Halifax Business Awards application workshop. And a big congratulations to all of you for your 2026 nomination. So my name is Kristen Jardine. I am RBC's Manager for Business Markets for Metro Halifax. RBC is a longtime supporter of business owners and a sponsor of the Halifax Business Awards program. And we are really delighted to be able to host you at today's session. Before we jump into today's relatively packed agenda, I just wanted to first commend you all on the importance of your contribution as business owners and leaders to our city and our province. It is so important. Small businesses are at the heart of our economy, and your hard work, resilience, and dedication keep moving us forward. So thank you all for your hard work as you help your communities and our economy grow and prosper. If you've ever attended the Halifax Business Awards, you know how thrilling and exciting the night can be. Finalists have the chance to be promoted and celebrated in front of their peers at the most high-profile business event in the city. I attended last year, and it was a lot of fun and really inspiring to see all of the nominees and winners. But before the awards comes the creation of the award-winning application. And the application process is thorough, and that can be daunting for some business owners. But consider this, even completing the application really does offer a lot of value. Many nominees have shared in the past that they found working on the application offers a lot of value, and it's an extremely worthwhile process from a business planning perspective. And in fact, many have repurposed it for other business activities as well. So not only is the award itself an investment in your business, but the application really can be an investment in your business as well. So this brings us to the reason for today's event. We started these workshops with RBC back in 2022 to support applicants on their journey of being a Halifax Business Awards finalist, and to help you to really put your best foot forward and to showcase the incredible work that each of you are doing. And so today we are so lucky to have here with us a previous Business Leader of the Year, Mike Davis. And so Mike is going to share his experience being a finalist and winner, and he will offer some application tips as well. So with that, Mike, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Kristen. Thanks everybody for joining and congratulations on being nominated. Before I to talk a little bit about our experience, really just want to give a shout out to the chamber for their leadership on with this awards ceremony and RBC, of course, and to the judges. Matthew's going to talk a little bit about that as well. But I know that and talking to a few of the folks that were in that work, there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of really strong and detailed applications that come in, and so it's a lot of work. And Matthew, I don't think you're getting a whole lot of payment in that regard. So very much appreciate your your community and business leadership for that. I think, before I talk about our experience, my experience specifically, I in I mean, this is like humble brag. I've actually gotten to get on the stage a couple times in the Chamber Awards, and the first time that I was on stage was early in 2020, and I remember saying, that and it was at a point of growth, when economic growth was becoming obvious, to maybe for the first time for me anyways, in Halifax, and in Atlantic Canada. I think we have a tendency to downplay our success. I think we have a tendency to sort of we've got that tallest poppy syndrome sometimes, where we're trying to kind of hold people back or pull people down, and those that are really trying to promote their successes. And I would say that we fell into that a little bit, and of not wanting to be too kind of outwardly boastful about some of the successes that we've had. And I think that the chamber's done a really great job of providing opportunities, and has almost made it good, and kind of less frowned upon to talk about our successes here. And of course, the last 5 years in Halifax is certainly, we just continue to see economic growth and lots of successes. So with that, maybe a little bit of the history for me with the awards, because businesses that I have been associated with have been nominated a few times. The Davis Peard, the company that I co-founded, was a finalist and didn't win in the new Business of the Year category, and we won Business of the Year in 2020. And I was lucky enough to be awarded with Business Person of the Year, Business Leader of the Year, I guess, in 2025, just recently. And I say that because it you know it's of course it's special and it's amazing to get on the stage. There's no doubt about that. But I would say that we got so much as a business out of uh, being nominated and just having people even thinking and paying attention to us, but also um, getting to be a finalist really provided our business with all kinds of profile that we wouldn't have otherwise gotten. Whether through Business Voice and the awards ceremony as well. The chamber does a great job of celebrating all of the finalists, and so very, very much would encourage everybody that's been nominated to go through the process. Um, I think the a few of the things or a few of the areas where we've benefited. We did. I mean, listen, it's free marketing, and that's especially for small businesses. That's really important, frankly, because when we started the company, we were two people, and so I fully appreciate and understand what it's like to run a very small business. So every bit of sort of marketing and advertising that you can get is great. I think additionally, it's external acknowledgement by a group of very accomplished business leaders that are looking at your business and assessing your business against others and have sort of um, deemed it to be, one of those top businesses in, the economic hub of Atlantic Canada. And so that, that everybody should be sort of proud of that as well. And then if we talk about the application, I think as I was sort of joking before the call started, that as we have grown, my involvement in actually filling out the application or the first draft of the application has waned a little bit. But I do have filled out the application in previous iterations, and of course have sort of read and reviewed, and we've talked and discussed with the team. And I think what's so great about it is it helps you think a little bit differently about your business in a more holistic way. And so in everybody's business and everybody, in every industry, you get sort of focused in on and stuck on certain things. Our business is no different. Um, and even just sort of reading the questions that the chamber is asking and for the awards ceremony that are sort of, I'll say, generic across or almost industry or sector agnostic or independent, was really helpful for us to just think a little bit differently about our business and some of the things that we wouldn't have otherwise thought about. Additionally, I think it really helps you uh, to do a good submission or to do a good application. I think you need to get very succinct on being able to tell your story. And telling your story to judges, telling your story to the business community is really no different than being able to tell your story to prospective customers or clients or partners. And so I think that we got a lot of value out of that as well. And then the final thing maybe I'll say about the application process itself, um, in terms of the value, is that certainly last year I would say there was a strong component around sort of the social and societal contribution that businesses are making, and I absolutely love that aspect of the application and criteria, because certainly businesses are in um, you know the private sector is there, and I guess there's also the community sector, the nonprofit sector as well, award. But all of our organizations, yes, are tasked with and responsible for employing people and selling product or selling services. Um, but we also, I believe we've got corporate social responsibility, all of us, whether you're small or large, whether it's a stated goal or not. And I think that that's a really strong, really important aspect of the application process as well, that gets called out. And so I would give some thought to that as a business leader or business owner or executive director or what have you. Um, and I mean, I suspect that others will go into a little bit more detail about what the process is and making sure that you give yourself lots of time to fill it out. And because there's oftentimes what we did is we wrote what we thought were really great answers, and then we realized that they were too wordy and too lengthy, and so you need some time to sort of pare them down, certainly. And just as far as the logistics are concerned, as I said, I think people will be covering that. I'll just close off by saying that the experience for us again, and me specifically as a business leader, whatever exactly that means, I think that getting that external validation for us has just continued to sort of pump our tires a little bit and made us realize that some of the business goals or dreams that we had, maybe are possible. So we've benefited greatly from the notoriety and um, the attention that we got. But also, I think that application process has really helped us better tell our story. So maybe I'll leave it to that.
And so now, folks, it's really time to turn our attention to the best practices and tips and tricks from the perspective of the judging committee. So every year there are hundreds of applicants who submit their applications, and each of these undergo a rigorous eligibility review by the Halifax Chamber, further to which they are judged and scored by a diverse and respected panel of judges. The Halifax Business Awards Judging Committee is looking for deserving businesses that represent Halifax's ideals of hard work and innovation. The committee is comprised of 6 leaders from our business community, often changing from year to year. The completed submissions are reviewed by our judges and scored on a predetermined criteria rubric. The top scorers of this rubric are chosen as our 35 finalists. So, who are these judges? The esteemed committee represents a spectrum of industries, and each year they invest countless hours of their personal time to score and rank each nominee and determine who deserves to win each category this year. So today we are lucky to have with us Matthew Martell, who is the chair of the judging committee and the CEO of the Black Business Initiative. So Matthew is a certified project manager who believes in a people-first approach to business. He holds a master's degree in technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation from the Sobey School of Business, and has an extensive background in leadership, human resources, change management, and strategic planning. Matthew is passionate about Canadian entrepreneurship, especially in working to foster and grow minority-led enterprises. His ability to observe and understand the contributions of different facets of a company allows him to effectively work with individuals and teams to innovate organizational processes. So today he will share some insider tips and best practices for completing a standout application. So a very big thank you to you, Matthew, and I will turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kristen. And Mike actually, I think, took us pretty well down the road, which was wonderful. To have us start that strong. But as Kristen mentioned, everyone, I'm Matthew Martell, CEO of the Black Business Initiative, as well as chair for the judging committee here. And I'm really excited for these sessions where I have an opportunity to maybe answer some questions, give you perspective directly from the judging committee. We did have an opportunity yesterday as a committee to meet to sort of have our kickoff. So it's very timely, it's nice and fresh. And really, I just want to sort of use this space as an opportunity to share what I see year over year, and hopefully provide some value in the sort of short window of time that I have to chat. So the first thing that I would say is extremely important as you're putting together your submission, is really to tell the compelling story of your business. I know it was already said, it cannot be said enough that we see hundreds of these applications. And by the time you get to number 295, they start to blur, right? So it's very important that you are telling us what makes you unique, that you are really putting the passion behind the words, that same passion that drives you in your business. So that's extremely important. in telling that story, the next thing that I would absolutely say is crucial is leveraging data. What we see time and time again are the submissions that have strong quantitative elements lead to much stronger outcomes, because we are not experts in all of these businesses, but sometimes when we look at things like business growth, staff headcount growth, revenue growth, all those sorts of things are consistent across industry. So it makes it a lot easier for us to really, really visualize and wrap our head around your business specifically. So if you have those numbers, sharing them is extremely helpful. And if you don't, I would say, as you're doing the work to put together this application, any work that can be done to gather and quantify some of these things, I think will absolutely help in your submission. In terms of innovation and resilience, that's something else that, again, for us as judges, we, if you have, I think last year we had a few businesses. I think they were like graphene businesses or graphite businesses or something, just really, really interesting local technologies. And while we're not experts in the space, they did a wonderful job of helping us visualize what innovation in their business means, and help us visualize the actual what the day-to-day may look like for a business like theirs. And so things like that are always helpful for us because we're not experts. Also, any opportunities that you may have to pull in testimonials, I believe there's an opportunity in there for reference letters, for testimonials, things like that. Don't skip it. It sometimes may feel like extra, but trust me when I say we read them all. So it's not necessarily so much of who can I get to write this for me that maybe is a person of influence, but more importantly, what is the content of that reference letter, and how have you actually impacted that individual? So that's always extremely helpful. And beyond that, I would say persistence is a key piece of this. Time and time again, we hear of organizations winning on the second time or third time. So it's certainly something that year over year, I guess, refining your application, getting feedback where possible, rebuilding, strengthening each and every year, I think will also lead to better outcomes. Not so much that you can't be successful in the first year. Of course, those things happen, but I certainly would say don't feel discouraged if you're not a finalist, or if you're not a winner. Absolutely continue to try because I think it's a worthwhile endeavor. Being authentic is another one that is important. We do see, again, of course, with hundreds and hundreds of applications, we know people are leveraging AI tools to help with their submissions and things like that. That's not unusual, but it sometimes can create an environment where there's a lot of uniformity. So if you are using those tools, or as you're putting your submission together, making sure that you're remaining authentic, that you are using those tools. If you do use those tools, using them as a foundation and not a sort of a full plan, I guess, for your submission, is extremely helpful, because it's really that authenticity and storytelling that pushes people across the line. And in terms of last, I guess I'll say, it's always great to see teams celebrated. So it's always wonderful when we congratulate and maybe elaborate on staff culture, the team behind the work, because these things are often written by different people in organizations. Sometimes it's a CEO, sometimes it's maybe administrative staff or something. So just helping the judging committee also get a picture of what the culture and team looks like in your organization is just another important part of that storytelling. So I think that is a good place to stop. Mike did say, yes, it is volunteer, but to the credit of the chamber, they do feed us amazing local lunches every single time that we meet. So there is some form of compensation, but of course, yes, our judging committee are all volunteers. They are, very rounded in terms of their industry experience, their demographics, as well as the sort of communities that they serve each and every day. So I'll pause there and hand it back to either you, Kristen, or Chamber, whoever's most appropriate.
Yeah, that's great, Matthew. Thank you so much. And, certainly having an experienced judging panelist here, I think to share insights is really, really valuable. Certainly you have exposure to a really important and impactful cross-section of applications year after year. So thank you very much for that. And so now I'd like to introduce you to our keynote speaker, Zoran Jokic. Now, I'm hoping I said your name correctly. You told me how to say your name at the last workshop, and so I'm hopeful that I've said that correctly. Zoran has led many training courses for the Chamber and has had a distinguished career in business and technology. He is the CEO and partner of Training First Consulting, Inc., and provides a practical training first approach, which builds on companies' strengths to help small to medium-sized businesses meet their business goals. So Zoran is going to present to us on the writing process and best practices. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to you, Zoran.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mike. I think, when I go last, I always feel the job is almost done because people normally said everything that, the rest of the group's supposed to hear. So first, hello from Italy. I'm in Italy right now, and it's beautiful and sunny, and I'm enjoying every second minute of it. But most of all, I enjoy getting connected back to the community and the business landscape of Halifax in Nova Scotia. So it's always important to me. So basically, there are always some questions. There are always certain things that people ask, that big why and or how. So it's very similar to businesses. We normally say, look at the businesses as they look alike. Of course, some people actually compare them to snowflakes, but on the first sight, yeah, they look alike. However, if you take snowflake and analyze an individual basis, you're going to see the differences. So when it comes to writing about, your business and stuff like that, I always say, it's almost creating a profile on social media. Do not copy and paste your resume. So do not copy and paste, some stuff that has been done probably a long time ago. You found it somewhere on your drive or thumb drive, and then you're trying to utilize it. You can utilize that as a baseline. You can utilize that as a starting point. However, it's not recommended to use something that has been sitting down or sitting in a corner, or your computer thumb drive for the longest time. Now, when it comes to the approach, I just want to repeat something very important that Mike said. Time is an essence, and actually, I think his name was Paul. He said we did not have enough time. So if you are considering this is amazing award. This is amazing event always. As everybody said, I agree with everything they said. So make sure that you do have, a lot of time to write. So again, some people say, I am, single entrepreneur, or I do have a small team, where is the best timing to do that? I can tell you definitely where is not best timing. So that's 48 hours prior to starting, your writing journey. So make sure that you do have enough time to start taking notes. Have your phone ready, because when you start thinking about the first kind of maybe first thoughts, maybe first 2 days, you're not going to be overwhelmed with a great inspiration. So have your phone, have your notepad, or whatever you have, whatever you're comfortable with. Start jotting notes and try to kind of think about why I do what I do. And And as many as those whys you can come up with, definitely you are on a good path. The next thing is that's always important when you are writing about your whys. Try to minimize the impact on how, because as Matt said before, in order for people to really understand the core of the business, probably there's no so many, even like, your parents are best friends. If you tell them, what you do, sometimes they're puzzled. So think about that. So try to kind of utilize the language that is not SME or subject matter expertise language. So because you are writing to a broader audience, so they have to have a really good understanding what's going on. So the time, that's the one thing. The second thing is, you start answering your why. So when it comes to whys, why did you start or why do you do what you do? One of the things I always say to people, easiest to break the uh, cycle of not being expired is to write about benefits that your business provides. So the benefits to the customer, the benefits to the client, business benefits to the community, benefits to the organization on its own, benefit to the world. So always think about benefits, because I wrote a lot of proposals in my life, but also I was on the procurement side for a while. And I can tell you, people, they normally, when they write about their how they start the business, how they serve the customers, and basically end up, instead telling us benefits, they end up with the features. So one of the things I always say, make sure that the features are secondary, they're not that important, but every feature should align perfectly with benefits. So those are the easiest thing. So I always challenge organizations, even when I work one-on-one with them, if I do any organizational needs assessment, I would say pick up a product, pick up a service, one single service, and tell me at least 5 to 10 benefits of that service. And it's not easy. I'm telling you right now, it's not easy, but it should come as your I would say streamline in order to be very successful. So the next step actually is I kind of normally say, I'm not always on that side of the road, but I normally say obey the rules. I always try to kind of navigate, in different directions, try to not obey them all the time, But here actually it's a very self-explanatory. So I know I think Will asked the question about 275 words. So don't go over, but don't go under. So again, I remember the biggest challenges back in the days when we got Twitter, now X. When somebody says, "Oh my goodness, how I'm going to do this in like a 30 or 40 characters?" Like, I have to express myself. So don't try to shorten it if you don't need it. But I can guarantee you, the first time when you write, it's probably going to go over 275. So I'm almost confident that you're going to come up between 400 to 600 words. And then you want to start like rewriting it and trying to figure it out, and use those benefits to help you out to make it short and sweet, but also the precise. Again, I cannot stress enough, allow yourself a lot of time to do it. Don't just try to pack in day or two. It's not possible. So you're not gonna be successful by doing it. Another thing when it comes to technicality of writing, it is always important to have a couple of people. They are going to go over, they are going to have a good understanding. But I want to again give you another challenge. So when you completely done, when you think, this is pretty good, so give it to someone that doesn't know too much about your business. Let them read and let them provide you feedback. So that is the kind of the easiest thing. A lot of times it would be some of your friends, maybe they're not interested, maybe they do work, for organization, they don't have entrepreneur mind. So that is the kind of a good segue into being successful. So give them a chance, let them read, and but also be ready to receive very honest feedback. feedback. Again, those feedbacks, sometimes they might hurt, sometimes they might have a different implications, but it is about business. So as a business owner, we all go to ups and downs. So it's not always, a clear sailing or the clear path. So we do have obstacles. So now when we start getting into really the core of writing, of course, somebody said to me, what kind of software do we use? Is there a software for this or that? So let's kind of talk about it. And I think Matt said it already. Of course, everybody talking about AI, but also, you're talking about editing software. You're talking about, the Grammarly and even simply Word or Google Docs or whatever it is. So first, you can use those to, number the words, so it's kind of easier, so you don't have to count anything. Those are kind of positive things. But also the negative things, I kind of look at how we express ourselves in the language or variant of the language. So you do have that crosswords between, as we normally say, UK English, and then we do have, the US version, the English, and Canadian kind of slots it in between. So again, if you're really gonna get into the picky details, I always say you have to kind of make determination. You're going to go on Oxford side or you're going to go on Webster side. So it's very important to follow the same path. Again, one of the things I always say to people, because I come from the technology background, and I always say to people, make sure you set it up your computers and everything else in Canadian English. So it's kind of, you don't get those annoying wiggly lines all the time and, using use and, and humor and everything else. So those are very important things to kind of do it from the start. And then comes AI. So AI is always considered as a big helper, especially, again, I don't care what we're writing. We can write about anything as long as we do have a little bit of inspiration. So if you don't have inspiration, that's why you're going to use those benefits that I talk about. So those benefits, essentially, if you're using the very nowadays language, it is kind of they are acting as a keyword. So basically, if you started doing those keywords, if you were right on with the keywords, and again, keywords, there's two connotation about keywords. There's a short and long tail keywords. So try to use long tail keywords. So do not just say the benefits of my program or benefits of my product or benefits of my service. Try to kind of look into it a little bit further. Use 3, 4, 5 different words. And again, I kind of look at the marketing and, Google is doing wonderful thing. Remember before we used to search for one single thing, and then all of a sudden now like that near me makes it big wonders because, everything is registered by IP address. So anyway, so I'm not going to kind of go into that side, but it is time when you market yourself. And the marketing is in essence in every business. If you look at your business, if you look at any business across, doesn't matter big or small, there are always 4 components of those businesses. So number 1, it's marketing and sales. Number 2 is finance. So of course, you have to kind of sound very savvy in terms of financial aspect of it. And then you do have your operation. And then the third thing, of course, you do have your HR, it's a talent management and everything else. But guess what? Why I'm saying this to you, and there's a connection. I normally kind of look at people when they talk about their businesses, they talk about that segment called operation. Why? Because initially they started the business due to the fact that, they know what they do. So again, don't overwhelm yourself just with operation. You have to touch the base and other aspects of your business, especially that comes to sales and marketing. Give the numbers. Do some research your competition. That's another thing as well and I think Mike said, in Nova Scotia, we don't do that pretty good. So we have to do it. We have to start. And this is an amazing way to start, doing marketing because, again, RBC is a huge, huge impact on business community. And of course, Chamber, I don't have to say it. It's just amazing organization that promotes every single business locally. So it's very important. And of course, they act on behalf of, business community. So when it comes to that marketing, when you kind of started writing about it, you make sure, that you do have a research-based component. So, you don't say just that your business is um, elevated, year after year in terms of, uh, being successful. That is pretty much full stop after that, being successful. Define that a little bit better. Say, like, what is the growth? Uh, what do you see yourself in the next 2 or 3 years? So also Mike said something about this that I always said to people. This is a great opportunity because it will align up with the business planning. And the business planning, normally people say, I need a business plan to get some money to start a business, but also you need business plan to hold you accountable. You need a business plan to kind of understand, where you at in terms of, your business at any given time, but also, think about expansion, think about growth. So there's always that segment of, business planning that is very similar to what would you be doing when you are writing to win a award. Another thing that's more practical, and I always talk about it, is usage of the certain words. So when it comes to usage of certain words, and again, I've seen them, I read a lot of uh, proposals, and one of the biggest offender in the language that people use, it's called interesting. So believe it or not, you might say, like, you're crazy, how many people use word interesting? Yes, they do. They use it in their proposal a lot. Also, when it comes to kind of use it as a survey mechanism in place. So they would go with, like, small or smart or something like that, or big or good. So don't use those words, because those words, they need to be uh, in congestion with, or attachment, as I call it, with some data that supports that. So there's a supporting mechanism for those words. So if you just use them plainly and there's nothing else, of course, you're losing a lot of opportunities. Another thing that is a big offender that I stumble across reading certain things, and I serve on a couple of judges committee in different organizations, it was important. So somebody kind of trying to say how, they do good for the community and business community, the large, or whatever, whoever that is, how important they are in that segment of the business. And guess what? It's kind of standalone. It's island in the middle of the ocean. Really does not mean too much. Probable or possible, again, it's kind of uncertain. So those are the things. Even the certain comes a very, I would say, something that you should be avoiding. Um, Valuable, reasonable, quiet, somewhat, a lot, a little. So those are another groups of words that I would say stay away from. I think and I believe, you never do that, because again, you don't think, because that's what you do. We don't use believe when we are 100% confident about something. So in order for you to write confidently, can't believe, you have to be confident writing about it. So again, those are the little things that you need to kind of put in perspective. Another thing that I found the businesses when they're writing, because again, they kind of touches AI segment of it, they use ambiguous words. And when it comes to, ambiguous words, one of the things that, and I always say this, even if you do a little exercise, if I say, the word itself, just, single word bank. So a lot of times people associated with the bank as RBC Bank, but also the different meaning could be, bank in terms of river. So again, edge of the river, it's the same word. So you have to really, really stay away, because any word that has a different definition with the language structure, and especially when somebody is reading it and they're not really understanding, the core of your business, because again, they're not expert. that would shift away completely their focus. Also, one of the biggest advice that somebody gave it to me when I was writing my proposal at the beginning was the proposal. If you stop at any given time, if you go segment by segment, if you write, the the word you're talking about your business, you write, paragraph by paragraph. So make sure that anybody who reads it, they can stop at any given time, but also for them, it's super easy to go travel upward that writing or downwards. So what I'm trying to say, the full stop is not going to be, okay, now I have to write all over again. It's kind of very nicely flow. So that is a very important part of it. Also, when we start doing, social media back in starting 2008, actually, I was doing it. And one of the things I always say, the context is a key or king or whatever you want to use the word. And I always say that is still valuable piece of advice. So again, it is a key. Then you have lexical ambiguity, and we can talk about the phrases. So what I normally say to people, you're the expert, so you're going to be using a lot of terms and the jargons that you are familiar with. So train yourself. That is not good for public. So it's not good for everybody else unless you're talking to somebody lookalike or similar in terms of business understanding. Also, another thing is, we're a smaller province, we're a smaller community here, but there's something called colloquialism, and again, it could exist in certain parts of the country, of the province or the HRM. So again, try to stay away from it. So I always say I used to work with some of the hotels, and I remember when gentlemen came, the couple actually came from Japan, and they checked in at Holiday Inn. The one used to be, now I don't know the name, just beside the bridge, the McDonald Bridge, and a very nice lady at the reception desk said to that couple, "Oh, welcome to HRM." So they leave the bags and they walk all the way out and they look at the top of the hotel trying to figure the sign. And they came back and they said, "Oh no, Holiday Inn, we are not in HRM hotel. We didn't check there." So that's the kind of things that I'm trying to say. So stay away from those. Um, and there's another examples like especially when you use the language in terms of defining yourself. Bright, I heard that a lot of times. So is it bright because somebody's intelligent? Is it bright because it's a shining? So it's again open for interpretation. You minimize that impact. Um, Class, for instance, that's another one. Is it a group of people, students, or whatever, or some social ranking that you trying to define? And then the last one would be that intentional ambiguity. And when we talk about intentional, of course, we kind of use phrases like somebody the other day I was working with to set up the new business, and they're in cleaning, and they said like, "Oh, we like that almost spotless." And then I said, don't use that word because it's intentional. So almost spotless means like what, 90%, 95%, 99%. So again, it doesn't sound really good on the reader side. So those are the little things, and I know Matt already explained to you the process, so I'm not going to repeat it. So kind of follow everything to the dot. Um, so if you ever wrote proposal or RFP, I normally suggest to people very similar to this. Your executive summary that you kind of talk about your nitty gritty and everything business, what you do and how you do and why do you do. Leave that to the last thing to write. Do not do that at the beginning because it is really hard to go up and down from that level. And again, your whole idea is to somebody who is reading it, they can easily travel up and down. They can stop, they can go for a coffee, come back, and they feel like, okay, I know exactly where I stopped, so I can just keep going. I still have a good understanding. So that is the very important part. And the most important is, good luck to everyone. Be persistent. If this year doesn't work, there's always next year. So if you ever wonder, who are the people they they won so far. Go and do the research on Halifax Chamber of Commerce. You can see, what kind of impact it had on their, business. So you can do that too. So good luck. All the best to you guys, and I hope we'll find out who is the winner in each category very soon. So time goes fast.
That's
Thanks.
great. Thank you, Zoran. So I think I'm turning it back over to our chamber partners here. So I'll turn it over to you folks.
Thank you, Zoran. Thank you, Kristen. In the interest of time, we're just gonna jump into questions for now. And if someone has any questions about how to submit applications, I can run that through with them after one. Okay, fire away. Let's do questions.
I have a question. It's Tracy. Sorry, I didn't raise my hand, but
No
I was trying
worries.
to figure out how to do that. Anyway, first of all, thank you. I thought that was really great information, really super excellent tips about language and things to focus on, and definitely see the value of going through this exercise, regardless of the results, just even helping you with your own planning and defining your value proposition to clients. I think it's going to be a really cool exercise to go through. A question about references and accolades. And so I know Matthew had mentioned that those are important and we should try our best to include those. Do they actually carry any weight in the in terms of the judging process, or are they considered more as like when the judges are deliberating and they're looking at things overall, or perhaps used as tiebreakers? Just trying to figure out how much weight, if any, those references and accolades carry.
Yeah, fair question. I think like the accolades and references are more a testament to the work your business does. So these could come from a client, an MLE you've worked with, things like that.
Oh, thank you. That's great. And I guess my specific question was around, so they don't really have a specific kind of weight in the evaluation process as part of that rubric. They're just more kind of give strength to your application, or?
I would say so, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think Carrie has a question.
Hi, yes. This has been wonderfully informative. Thank you. One thing I may have missed, but I'm just not sure of, is we got an email to say to invite us to participate in this. We're not a member of Halifax Chamber at the moment. So do we have to be a member to? We don't.
No.
Okay.
You don't have to be a member, and you still get to submit an application, a submission, which is awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Hi, I'm Ashley. I have a question. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're muted.
Oh, there we
Yep,
go.
We could hear you
now.
Okay. I actually had the same question that Carrie had, but I also read on the sides that just hearing all this seems very overwhelming on how to apply or submit an application. And I read that we can ask for help on that, like filling out the application.
Yeah, so we're available to help in regards to submitting the application. Obviously, we
Right.
want to be fair and equitable across the board. So we can't help with the actual application of it, but we do our best to be as helpful as possible for anybody who has questions about how to actually apply on the website and all that stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Cassidy has a question.
Hi, sorry.
Hello.
Hi. First of all, thank you for inviting to the session, and everyone's been super informative. I was just curious on one thing. So I got an email first, so like being nominated, and then there was this invite. So is this like you're nominated and then you do the application to see if you win? Is that how that works?
Yeah, so now you're at the nomination stage. So then you have a submission to complete, and then we'll get, so the submission deadline is September 12th. And then after that, our judges go in and review all of the submissions, and then we'll announce the finalists.
Okay. All right. Perfect. That's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Hi. Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Darren Hill from Scotia Kelp Products. Thank you for this afternoon. It was awesome. Very, very informative. I'm really looking forward to this process. The question I have is, are the previous submissions or the finalists, their proposals, or even the winners, are we privy to that?
A template of how you would this has been done before, I think, is what you're trying to say there, I think, right?
Well, yeah, the previous submissions, like last year, the finalists, their actual proposals, to see which ones were chosen, and it would give us an idea of, if we, take the advice that was given this afternoon and not use certain words that, were just fillers, or talking about things that, weren't prevalent to the decision making, as a guide helping us do this for the first timers.
Yeah, so we don't currently share also, hi everyone, I'm Emma from the Chamber, just jumping in. We don't currently share the winning submissions. We just have to get permission from them right now, but that's a good idea. I like that. So we'll definitely look at that. We just don't have it we probably won't have it for this year, but we will definitely take a look at that. That's a good idea. Thanks.
Thank you very much for answering that.
I see one question here in the chat. When are the finalists announced? So we will notify the finalists the first week of October, around the week of the 6th, and then all finalists will be publicly announced during Small Business Week.
All right, 1 o'clock on the dot. Do we have any other questions? I don't see any questions. Thank you everyone for joining us. Kristen, Zoran, Matt, thank you for speaking today. And Mike, of course, too. And yeah, this has been recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. And we'll send out the link after that's uploaded later. Thank you, everyone. Hey everyone, if we've not met yet, my name is Nasha and I'm the Public Relations Coordinator here at the Halifax Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for joining us today, and a huge congratulations if you've been nominated already. That's a huge deal. It means someone out there sees the amazing work you're doing and wants the whole city to know about it. If you're selected as a finalist, you'll get to take part in a full photo shoot and video shoot this fall. And of course, you'll be celebrated on stage at our gala in January. If you're thinking about nominating yourself or an amazing business that you know of, I'm going to show you how easy that is. So first off, you'd go to our website, halifaxchamber.com. You'll go to events here and go to Halifax Business Awards. So you're gonna see nominate now. And before I really show you how to do that, I just want you to keep track of two very important dates. September 5 is when nominations close, and September 12 is when submissions close. All right, so you're gonna scroll down a little bit more. You're gonna click on submit a nomination here. Okay, and now you're here. So I'm just going to create a fake nomination here just to kind of show you how it works. So then you scroll down a little bit and you'll see we have 7 different categories. If you want to learn more about the different categories, I encourage you to click here on view full category information, and this basically just shows you the requirements for each of the different categories. One thing to note is that you are able to submit a nomination for Business Leader of the Year and another business category, but you're not able to do 2 other business categories. So for instance, you can't do Export Business of the Year and Innovative Business of the Year, but you are able to do Innovative Business of the Year and Business Leader of the Year. Once you've reviewed those requirements here, you're gonna pick your category. I'm going with Export here. And I do have another pro tip for you. So usually Small Business of the Year and Business of the Year here are the most popular. So if you're eligible for another category, we highly recommend you applying there for better chances. And then of course you have to enter your information as the nominator. And you may choose to remain anonymous. So then click on submit. And then you get a confirmation that your nomination has been sent. So once you've submitted a nomination, this is the email that the nominee would receive. So it's a nice little congratulations email. And then at the bottom here, it says sign in or create account. And I'm just going to open this link up here to show you how to create an account for the submission portal. So it's here, you have a sign in, you'll put your email address and password in. I already did this step, so I'm going to skip that portion and let you do that on your own. So once you've created your account, this is essentially where you'll sign into. This is going to be your submission portal, and you can see my company that's been nominated is here, so I'm just going to click on here. You can review again the requirements and criteria. You are able to change the category if you feel there's a better fit somewhere else. You have a bunch of things to fill out here, so I'll leave that to you. And then you have some questions. Just to note that the maximum number of words is 300 words. So you have a couple questions to fill out here. You have references. So references can be from a client, an MLA, a former colleague, really whoever. This essentially just helps the judges understand your impact in the community. We have accolades, we have a couple other things here. And then once you're done, just make sure you click save here. And when you're done saving, so the nice thing about this is that you can save and come back to it and nothing will get lost. So if you don't want to complete your submission in one day, there is always an option to do that. Or what we always recommend too is have a Word document with everything that you're working on for the submission, just to have a backup in case anything happens. Okay, so once you've done saving everything here, you're gonna click on send on to the judges. If you don't click on this, we won't get your submission and it will be counted as an incomplete submission. So make sure you click on this button here, very important. And then that's it, that's pretty much it. So you'll fill out all of these. We'll get your completed submission. The judges will be reviewing your submission, and you will be contacted if you end up becoming a finalist, which is really exciting. That's about it. If you have any questions about any of this, please reach out to myself, Naja, at halifaxchamber.com with an email, and I'll be happy to help you out. Good luck on your submission, and I hope we get to work together.